These are the faces, the names, the people behind the grimmest of all statistics, the 6 million Jews killed by the Nazis in the Holocaust. Amongst them, Ed Miliband's grandfather. The Labour leader and his wife Justine have come to Israel to connect with his past, as well as to talk about the future of the Middle East. It's a trip the man who might be Prime Minister in a little over a year's time says he won't forget.
It was sort of awful, if I'm honest. I mean, it's awful because you see the suffering, and it's awful for anybody seeing that suffering. But it was particularly just incredibly painful for me. I mean, they presented me at the end with a document which I've got here about my family history and about my grandfather, who I never met, who died in one of the camps.
This, he says, is more than history. It's the key to understanding the values his parents, refugees who both came to Britain, gave to him.
They inculcated in me a sense of, you know, you've got to try and repair the broken world in the way that you can.
How broken the Middle East is, you can see from here. On the top of a hillside just above the Gaza Strip, Justine and Ed Miliband were shown where the rockets are fired, which rain down on this Israeli town.
They send thousands of rockets to our land, to Sderot, and just to kill the people.
This is no ordinary playgroup.
I'd quite like to do that.
The kids here are only safe as they don't play under the deep blue sky, but under a roof of thick, reinforced concrete.
I think it's brought it home for me. We've got a 3- and a 4-year-old at home who play, but they don't have to play here. They've got a choice about whether to go outside, so I was quite struck by that.
Last night, the Labour leader met Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Good to see you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you.
Tomorrow he'll travel from Jerusalem to the West Bank to meet the leader of the Palestinian Authority to discuss stalling peace talks. This is his first major trip as opposition leader. He's not been to the White House or Beijing or Delhi or Berlin. But he told me his foreign policy can be simply summed up.
I want to be a post-Iraq Prime Minister. Well, David Cameron wanted us to intervene in Syria, and we shouldn't have done, and we were right. The Labour Party was right, Parliament was right to stop the rush to war.
But I put it to him that over 100,000 had died in Syria and 6 million been forced from their homes. Some say that this is the defining collective failure of this century.
There are failures associated with Syria. That's true.
Is it the defining collective failure of this century?
Well, let's see. It's a very bad situation, but... Look,
you know whose words those were? The former Labour Foreign Secretary, your opponent in the Labour leadership contest, your own brother.
Well, I wasn't disagreeing that there are failures in relation to Syria, but if you're asking me, should we intervene militarily in Syria, at the moment my answer is no, because I don't see the route to doing so, which is actually going to work.
This trip's been about the personal, not the political.
I'm here.
Hello. Tonight, Ed Miliband's visit to Israel ended in the warm embrace of his extended family, including Sarah, his mother's cousin, who survived internment in a Nazi concentration camp. The Labour leader's message to voters at home: this is what makes me tick. This is who I am.
Is that you?
Nick Robinson, BBC News, Jerusalem.